But again, what I would like to see here is, well, because we see Apple, and you can't see the chart, it's on my other monitor, but I would love to see, because Apple's been topping out here at the top of this range. It looks like 146.50s, topping out, bunch of wicks on top, trying to reject. The SPY and the Qs topped out and rejected. Now they look like they're cracking down past that level I was worried about. I need to see Apple crack VWAP. And look, this is the level right here that I was looking for AMD to crack and head lower. Again, just playing the ranges. Look, resistance up here. I seen these two long wicks. I knew immediately that people were selling into this, taking profits. And by them taking profits, it's going to create downward pressure on the price action. And then also you got people knowing that the market is extended at this point. So not only are people taking profits from the gap up overnight and after hours and this bear market rally we've been in, but so they're taking profits. That's going to create downward pressure. And then you got people knowing the market's extended, and they're also seeing these wicks, and selling the rip from up there. And plus the market, it's extended. There's basically no logical reason for the market to have been running up these last couple of days, and especially after hours. So that was my thesis. It still is. I mean, I actually started the day red because I held a couple little small positions, some contracts overnight, expecting us to maybe gap down overnight. But, just looking at the price action, looking at the charts, I felt like it was only going to be a matter of time before we eventually got up to the top of a range somewhere and then rejected and sold off. And I mean, that's kind of what happened. But I'm not looking for just this washout. I'm looking for a washout all the way back down, like through red to green, and ultimately, going red on the day and continuing a sell-off. And this thing's fighting here. It's a little support level I drew, and then I got this level off the daily chart. So it should be a pretty decent level. The fact that it was a decent level and it was support and then cracked that level and then tried to sell off more kind of strengthens my thesis that we should see some more downside. But this is a crucial level. This is a crucial area in time for my thesis right now, because look, it's fighting for this level and it already cracked it. So now it's trying to gain it back, and look, it's cracking and heading lower. So what I would love to see is a continuation to the downside past this wick, and then ultimately get down the red to green. Now, what I don't like right now is I do see the indices trying to bounce here, and it looks like the SPY bounced off this 372.50s. The Qs obviously bouncing as well off of like the 373. I'm at 273 basically. So it's bouncing, but I want to see it go ahead and crack that level and keep heading lower, because if we do that, then I'd be a little bit more confident in my thesis. And it's trying to, some strength to the upside is trying to come in on the SPY and the Qs. But what I also see is some wicks. And here, let me try to see what I also see that wick on the SPY, but it's trying to bounce. Same thing on the Qs, but the Qs look a little weaker. Trying to bounce, look at that long wick. So I want to see that crack and head lower and ultimately crack the 120, my long term, and then that will let me know we're officially in a downtrend. And then if you look at Apple, I mean, same thing, topping out up here at this 146.50, nice round number, but look at all the wicking. The top in action, not only top in action, but a bunch of wicks. And now, as you see, Apple already cracked VWAP. It cracked the 9 and the 10, but it's trying to bounce. But, I want to see it head lower and ultimately crack this 120, my long-term directional. And then that will let me know that my thesis is valid still. looking at AMD, we've already cracked that level. I want to see us head lower, break beneath this wick right here where they bought it back up. If we crack that and then eventually get down the red to green, if that does happen to happen, I know we're going to have trouble at that previous close level. But then if we ultimately crack that level, that would confirm that my thesis is valid. I mean, sell the rip. The thesis is already valid. I sold this rip up here and I'm still in the position. And I'm obviously green on that trade. But what's mucking up my P&L is I held bearish positions, some puts overnight, expecting a gap down overnight from that unnatural run up that we seen. But instead we gapped up, and that obviously had me start the day red. So I mean, I'm already green. Like my trade on the day is a winner. But because I had that position from yesterday, I'm overall not totally green yet. And see this thing bouncing? Look, the SPY and the Qs are trying to step up. They're putting in higher lows. The SPY put in a higher low and a higher high. The Qs have put in a higher low. So they're trying to bounce. NVIDIA is it cracked VWAP in the 120 a while ago, as you can see right here, and now it's trying to reclaim the 9 EMA. Obviously something I don't want to see happen. I want to see us reject and head lower and ultimately go. But I'm trying to get this price action recorded, you know, with the live commentary and trading, but content creation software is demanding, and I don't want that interfering with, you know, my actual broker platform and the price action and all that. I don't want my shit lagging, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right here. So again, the logical thing would be for us to head lower, since we freaking ran up on all that phantom volume of the negative data, the negative catalyst. But there's people obviously buying the dip, or maybe thinking the bottom's in, and that's why it's kind of still showing some relative strength. But what I'm afraid of is the hopium in the markets will outlast the logical people that are selling the rip and are bearish and know that logically the market should be heading down. So that's the only thing that has me iffy right now. But I'm looking at the Qs. The Qs are in a little range over here. Let me show you real quick. So the Qs are in this little range here. Bounced off the support, put in a higher low, and then put in another higher low. But what you notice is there's wicks on top. We're under VWAP. We're under the 9 EMA and the short term. What I'd love to see is us give up this level right here, this 274, crack, and then crack the 120. Like I said, there's like too much hopium in the market. So logically, the market is supposed to be heading lower, just based on the overall market and economy. But again, nothing's logical about this, especially after seeing that phantom freaking run up. You see, like, it's trying to bounce. I don't know if it's hopium, people thinking the bottoms are in, or if they're just, you know, day trading, trying to bounce it up for a quick scalp. But I know there's definitely a lot of hopium in the market. Now, what can be a crucial and deciding factor is who will run out of steam first. Who will exhaust first? The buyers and the people running off hopium and or thinking that the bottoms are in, or the logical people that know that the market should be heading lower here. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. I seen a bunch of red prints. Did you see those red prints? And then if you look at this level 2, all right, 44, 45, 47, 48. So trying to bounce. 47, 49, red prints, 49, 50. Look, bunch of red prints, and that thing bounced up. All right, bunch of red prints. Now 49, 45, 42. That's more logical and makes more sense. Seeing those green prints, and immediately the bid jumped up from like 41 to like 45, 46, 49, 48. Look at the prints. See, we've seen some red and some white. So I would expect this to step down. Now, this level right here that I drew, this little zone here, is holding up pretty good. But what we'd love to see is this little zone here and this level crack. And the SPY is coming in with some bullishness. I mean, look, bounced off that level, the 372.50, put in a higher low and a higher high, bullish pattern, another higher low, and then when it tried to sell off, look at this wick on the bottom. They bought it back up. Now we're crossing over VWAP. Volumes coming into the market. Now, these red prints right here, but again, that's for the AMD chart. And the Qs are trying to follow behind, but the Qs are rejecting off the 9 EMA right here. I want to see it reject and head lower, because right now we've been in the range. And looks like we're trying to break out of the range, but to the upside. And then Apple as well. Apple is putting in higher lows and higher highs and trying to break above VWAP. Now, NVIDIA is just looking weak, you know what I mean? But it went up, test the top of the range. You see the wicks, same thing as on the other mega caps basically, and then we've been fading ever since. Cracked VWAP, cracked the 9, cracked the 10, and just been stepping down. But now it's trying to bounce off this 9 EMA. I want to see it crack the 9 EMA and then my short term and head lower. What's making me kind of nervous right here is we've been basing down here at this level I drew for a while now. Like, I want to see it crack the level